To a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour, live here on A2DRadio.com, brought to you by, as always, Specialized Physical Therapy. Hey man, listen, life throws a bunch of shit your way sometimes leaves you with a physical pain or sometimes a mental pain, and sometimes you just need to either get those aches and pains taken care of and just relax. Well, Dr. Paul Vidal can do that for you. You can find him in Cherry Hill, Princeton, and Burlington, New Jersey, and you can find him on the web at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Make an appointment on there and have Dr. Paul Vidal take care of you. Today on the show, I, Matt Satsuti, along with the Dark Wing, Brian Daly.
What up?
Unfortunately, the Broken One will not be joining us this evening. He got swamped with a lot of work, so unfortunately he is unable to attend. But, hey, he's here in spirit. We love you, Rob, and he'll be back next week.
Yes, he will.
And so, tonight, we talk about the conference finals. We are down to the final four teams here in the Stanley Cup Playoffs. And while we all wish the Flyers would be here, the better team did win their series. And so, therefore, it is an Islanders Lightnings in the Eastern Conference Final. And in the West, we have the Dallas Stars meeting the Las Vegas Golden Knights, who are still stunningly in their second Western Conference Finals. And it's only their third year in existence. Amazing.
Yeah,
but
they've been an impressive franchise since the get-go.
Yeah, to say the least. Andy saying, have a great show, boys. Thanks, Ritz.
Thanks, Andy.
Catch him on In This Very Ring, and he also likes to pop in at Lazy Booking when he wants to join us for another torture session of us and, me and Chrome just basically, shitting on him. And Brodo, too. Can't forget what Brodo does. Love the Flyers.
Likes to jump in on random shows as well and play commissioner for certain things that we're doing. So
true.
Love
How'd that go? How'd that go, by the way, on Tuesday night?
From what I watched, it was great.
Nice.
I don't know how the teams came together. Apparently they were all over there triple dicking. So I don't know.
You can catch that if you want to watch that back. I was on Tuesday night, right after Lazy Booking. So if you want to go back and check that out after the show, feel free to. But today is an intriguing day as well, and Brodo brought this up and he sent it to us. And it is today, the first day in history. In history. Never happened before. Maybe may never happen again, but we'll see. Today is the first day in history that an NFL, NBA, WNBA, MLB, MLS, PGA, and an NHL game are all being played on the same day.
Vegas just tied up the game 1-1 on a power play goal by Shea Theodore.
Oh, nice. Got Tom Renaud chiming in. What's up, Tommy?
What's going on, Tommy?
And
huge. It was a 5-on-3. Hudobin killed off the first part, made a couple key saves, but Shea Theodore gets a lucky deflection off a Dallas stick and finds the back of the net. I'm upset Anaheim let him go. He's really turning into quite the player. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe it's Riley Smith.
Well, while they go,
Riley Smith got it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, Tom, no Pove tonight, unfortunately. Like we said, got a little swamped at work. We got Chrome chiming in. Damn, that's a crazy point. A little something for everyone today. Yeah, to say the least. A little something for everybody.
It is crazy. It's literally something for everybody. So, obviously, COVID plays its positive side, I guess you can say. First time in history we get pretty much everything in one day. It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, true. And I mean, the funny part of it is that niche night has turned into everybody's night just for this particular evening.
It's something for everybody. Like I'm flipping between hockey, baseball, and football right now. So now I got the conference finals on. They are giving it to Shea Theodore right now, but I think that's going to get overturned. I think that's going to be a Riley Smith goal.
Okay, then.
Very early on in the third period here, in what's been a very back and forth series so far.
Yeah, we might as well talk about that now since that game's going on. Knights and the Stars, and I went tit for tat on shutouts. You had a 1-0 shutout for the Dallas Stars. Anton Khudobin putting on one hell of a performance, and then the Stars take the lead. But then the Vegas Golden Knights return fire and take a 3-0 shutout victory, and that made it a 1-1 series. I can tell you this right now. This is a very defensive series, and one goal can change everything real quick here.
Absolutely. Give a shout out to Papa Chuck's, brand new Papa. Happy for him and Mary. So,
yes,
obviously
congratulations.
I've congratulated him like 6 or 7 times already, but it never gets old. Like,
hey, listen,
him, so
we can never congratulate Chucks enough. Congratulations, brother.
Yeah, Tommy, man, it sucks not having the Flyers right now, but both games in each of these series have been very entertaining thus far. More game one if you're a Tampa fan in the Eastern Conference Finals, but on the West side, it's been very defensive. You got 2 big-bodied defensive teams that know how to play physical, that play well in front of their goaltenders, and 2 goaltenders that right now are playing very, very good hockey. I believe Robin Lehner has 4 shutouts so far in this postseason, leads the postseason in shutouts. So, he's really stepped up huge out in front. Defense is playing solid in front of him. Obviously, only letting up 2 goals so far through the series. It's Vegas needs to figure out a way to get the offense going, and so does Dallas. But so far they've been very good games so far.
Yeah. And by the way, we got Frank Vespa chiming in. Hey, yo, sorry to bother you at work. I agree to the poll. The poll question, we might as well talk about that as well. The poll question is, when you're in the conference finals, the longer it goes, the worse it is to try and win a Stanley Cup. Agree or disagree? Now, this is an interesting question because we've seen both sides of this story play out in different ways. We've seen a team that's had a very easy conference final win a Stanley Cup. We've also seen them lose a Stanley Cup. But we've also seen the team that's had the toughest conference final win and lose as well. So the question is, in your mind, what do you think at the end of the day? Agree or disagree? Do you believe that having a longer conference final means that you have a worse chance of winning a cup, or do you disagree? And do you say that having a longer conference final means you have a better chance of winning the Stanley Cup?
That's interesting. Actually, I think it's better if you have the longer. I mean, it really depends on the series before. So let's say the Islanders. I think for the Islanders, it's better if you have a shorter. But overall, I think I agree. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. This is tough. This is a good one. This is a good question. Yeah, I really think I think it all depends on how long it took to get to the conference finals, and how quickly you get through the series, and it could, like you said, we've seen benefits and issues come from depending on how long each series has been. Like if you're going 6 games, 7 games, 2 series before. If you can keep the series short, it pays a benefit, as Dallas just took the lead. Jamie Benn.
So. CEH scored a touchdown, by the way.
Yeah.
And Tom saying to the poll, I #disagree.
It's tough. That's a tough question to ask. That's a tough poll question. I like that one. That's good.
Maybe we can dive into this in a future show, and we can see what teams, depending on, what teams did win a cup and they had an easy conference final, or what ones lost had an easy one, and then the same thing for the longer ones. We could dive into that in a show one day. Who knows?
No!
And Bob Eagle saying, sorry, off topic, but Phillies just lost 7-6. This bullpen is killing me.
Oh, man. They just got shellacked 29-9 last night, and they're going to come back and it's all right, Bobby. Don't worry about it, man. It's all good.
From what I've been hearing off and on from my
Phillies
family
just can't beat the Marlins.
Filled, my family being filled with Phillies fans, I just keep hearing off and on how much they hate the bullpen. It just seems like that's been the biggest problem for the Phillies this entire season.
Yeah, they'll put up runs. It's not an issue, but the bullpen is a problem.
Sucks, Matty. It sucks.
Yep.
Well, I guess if worst comes to worst, if the Phillies miss it, then you know what? Then they know what they got to do. They need to find players that can actually, pitch in the bullpen. So they know what they got to do.
I mean, the rotation's been okay. Lineup's hitting. They're putting up the runs. You need to stop these other teams from putting up runs.
Bobby Eagle saying exactly. Yeah. Hey, man, we all support that. Anthony chiming in. What's up, Anthony? What are the Flyers' offseason transactions? Well, right now, with where it is, I think they're probably going to do the draft first. They may try to do something there if they want to, but that's if they really feel like it. I don't think they will.
I think you see a trade at the draft. I can't tell you who yet, but I think there's going to be a name move.
And it would be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Well, since you're thinking that there's going to be, do you think that it's a trade for player for pick, or do you think that it's trade player for player?
I think it's a player for pick. I think the Flyers actually try to move up a little bit, and maybe get out of the, where are they, 23rd? I believe they're the 23rd pick. Move out into the top 20.
True. This is a deep draft. So, I mean, no matter if you wind up even not getting that deal, so it isn't really a lose-lose situation. It's a win-win in a way, because so like even if you wind up picking at 23, it's a deep draft. So you're getting somebody good. And Joe's saying, package JVR, Nolan, and a first for Lane.
I want to see more Nolan Patrick. He says he's finally feeling good. He's finally feeling healthy. He's been golfing and working out and doing all this stuff, not having any issues. So I want to see Nolan Patrick.
If you had thrown Moran, I probably would be behind it, because Moran can't stay healthy, which would be more of a, okay, maybe he'll make the team out in Winnipeg, but at the same time, even if he does, it's not a big deal. That ain't going to come back and bite us.
Anthony, I see 2 out of 3. Got to remember, Drew has a full no trade clause, so it doesn't matter where he goes. He can veto any trade. Voracek, I believe, doesn't, and I don't think JVR does either. So I definitely see one of those guys going. I think Voracek is heading to Seattle.
Yeah, I could see it's either going to be him, Ghost, someone's getting moved to Seattle. We know that, but it's in the realm of possibilities. Maybe even JVR. They may leave JVR unprotected for Seattle to take, although they may not be as tempted by JVR.
Which guy?
Yeah, that's a good question. Which one? There are a lot of players in Florida that would be nice to have, but the question is who?
If Denny Dadonov is going to be a free agent, I don't think any of the other big stars are. I think Barkov's locked up.
Need a goal scorer. Well, Dadonov is a goal scorer, so that would definitely be take care of that problem.
Yeah, we were talking about this last week on Wednesday or on Thursday and Saturday. They need a pure goal scorer. They don't have it. They don't have that guy that's going to get you 40, 50 goals a year, and that's going to hurt. Like, if you look at the teams that are contending right now, and you can even make an argument for the Islanders, they have guys that are going to score.
Well,
40, 50 goals. But I don't see Barzal as a 40, 50 goal scorer. He's a great player. Only get it twisted. He's a great player.
You see him as a setup guy.
I see him just as a playmaker. He's a good 50-50 guy. He's going to get you
setup guy. Okay.
He's going to get you 20 to 30. But he's not going to get you 40 to 50.
Well, I mean, it's been funny. Brock Nelson's had himself quite a postseason, and he's done very well for himself, and Martin has come out of nowhere and has had himself a bit of a season after having only 5 goals in the regular season. But that's what happens in the postseason. Guy just comes right the fuck out of nowhere and has himself a run. But Anthony's saying, I think Giroux goes to Toronto because he is from Canada and the Leafs have lots of young talent. If that happens, it'd be interesting to see what the Flyers would be trading Giroux for. Because the question is like, okay, we're not getting Austin Matthews. We know that for a fact. So, and we may not be getting Mitch Marner.
Mitch Marner's off the table. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe William
Nylander?
Maybe. We know it's not going to be Kasperi Kapanen. He got traded to Pittsburgh.
A couple
weeks ago. I mean, outside of that, I mean, they have solid players. The only other player I would have been considered, they traded to Colorado over the last offseason. And
That's
that's
true.
Nazem Kadri, because he plays more of a Philadelphia style of play. Like, he's got that grinder mentality,
Yeah.
and the dude can score.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the two guys that I would be interested in are not going to come here, even if it's for Drew.
Yeah. I mean, you know what we'll do? We'll address this in another on another show. We'll go down a list of teams, and if we're thinking about trading Giroux, what teams would we like to see? We would like to call up and try to make a deal with. I think we can do that
go somewhere else, and he's just going to light it up, right?
If that happens, then it wouldn't surprise me, because that's just how it works in Philadelphia. That's just how it is. Like, okay, that's what it is. That's how it works. Good news. Good news. Philadelphia-itis. It never changes, no matter what happens. No matter whether you draft a player, like we did with Giroux, or whether you traded for a player.
This second and third period has just been all Dallas, man. They had a rough first period where Vegas was kind of all over them. Only wound up with like 4 shots after the first going into the second. Dallas has really turned it on in the second half of the game.
Joe saying, Ant San Flip said a week ago, Fletcher probably won't do much of anything, and Fletcher said yesterday he probably isn't going to do much. He wants to find bottom 6 scoring, and he is banking on Nolan Patrick health. Well, that doesn't really surprise me. I mean, here's the thing, though. Structurally wise, are the Flyers really in that bad a shape? No. They just had a really piss-poor performance in the playoffs, which, again, you can attribute to several things. And we'll talk about that, by the way, because we're going to go through our top 5 Flyers hit list and our top 5 Flyers shit list, meaning that we're going to talk about the players that pissed us the fuck off, and we'll talk about the players that we actually thought did pretty good and showed up. Just a shame the team around them didn't show up with them. Yeah. So we'll talk about that. We definitely will. And for Fletcher, I'm not surprised that he's holding steady here. He already made a big move when he got Hayes. And, we also have to remember the salary cap's going to be flat for a while. So you got to take that into account. There's no adjustments being made there. So you got to put all that into the equation as well. So there's a lot of things that are outside factors as to whether Fletcher does anything big or he doesn't right now.
Well, I mean, you also forgot one major thing is, he's putting a team together the way he wants it to be. And they're a playoff team. And, most of the pieces are in place now. So it's a piece here or there. They don't need to overhaul anything. They don't need to make any big moves. I would love to absolutely see, some bottom 6 scoring. I think they need to hold on to Derek Grant. I thought he played really well here. He had hell of a season in Anaheim before getting traded. Nate Thompson, I think you could be okay with letting go. Tyler Pitlick, I think the Flyers need to re-up with him.
Yeah, I would keep him.
He impressed me all season long. Fletcher should make an offer for Cal. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sold on Johnny Hockey. He had a really good season this year, but up until this year, he just didn't really live up to the hype, in my opinion. And besides, I don't think he's the scorer they really need. To me, he's more of a playmaker.
Yeah, the big issue is we need a proven goal scorer. And if Johnny's starting,
pure sniper. And I'm not saying that the Flyers need to go out and get this guy. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. They need a guy like Patrick Laine. They need a 40, 50 goal scorer. They haven't had it. I don't think they've had one since John LeClaire, Eric Lindros.
He says they just need to unload JVR and Voracek and add a speed and 1 sniper, and we are cup contenders.
I agree to JVR. I don't necessarily agree to Voracek. I like Voracek, but, I mean, somebody's got to go. And I unless you get clawed to waive his no movement clause, which I doubt he will, because he wants to be here. Voracek's got to be the guy. And besides, Seattle is going to need to be able to put some massive money on their cap.
True.
And Voracek has I believe it's somewhere around 8.8.
It's pretty high.
I know it's 8. I know it's over 8. So, that'll help out Seattle. So I think, honestly, I see Voracek being the guy going to Seattle. Not going to be traded. So I think Joe said that he was going to go to Seattle anyway. So, I agree there.
It's possible he could be the guy that Seattle winds up taking. If that's the case, then it is what it is. You're going to lose somebody. Wow. And now, Anthony's saying, I could see Ghost and Voracek going to Seattle, Winnipeg, Florida, or Arizona. I mean,
it's going to be one or the other. It's not going to be both.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to Arizona, because it's like, what is Arizona going to trade you? They're not going to trade you shit. They have nothing. It's like, what are they going? They're going to trade you Phil Kessel or Taylor Hall? Like, all right, if Phil Kessel winds up playing like he can, fine. But then you could also get the Phil Kessel that was in Arizona that didn't do much. So it's like, I don't know. And Taylor Hall, we don't know what Taylor Hall is. Taylor Hall hasn't really lived up to his potential. So you're kind of in,
if you're going to Arizona, I don't even know if I would even consider those two guys, especially since Taylor Hall is going to be a free agent. He's going to be looking for at least $6 million a year.
True, and Arizona's probably going to try and re-sign him.
So he's out. Phil Kessel's cap number is as high as it is as well. Florida has a lot of needs.
They do.
Who were the other ones? Did he say Winnipeg?
Yeah.
Winnipeg needs. I think they just need a new coach. Paul Maurice, he's a really good coach. I think they just need. They got a pimp in net, just like Tommy's saying here about Carter Hart.
Yeah, it's one of the few times in the offseason we're not talking about Flyers and goaltending issues.
The loss of Dustin Byfuglien hurt. I believe he's a UFA now. So maybe you can see a guy like Ghost going there. But Seattle's probably one of the better options for those two guys.
Yeah, I could see that. It's going to be interesting to see who we have. And what kind of deals we are. Anthony saying, I would love to see the Flyers get Shattenkirk. I don't know if we would be able to do that, though. That would be kind of a pipe dream.
No, and the only reason why I say no for Shattenkirk isn't necessarily because I don't want him here or that I think he's a bad defenseman. I just don't think there's a real spot. Because you're already struggling with the guys that you got. So you want to bring in another one? Then you're going to be blocking two guys instead of just one.
The only way
the idea is to get some of these defensemen off the book so you can fit in Hogg. So he's playing 75 to 82 games a year. Ghost playing 80 games, 82 games a year if he stays on the roster. You got a pipeline of defensemen, and Cam York is going to be something special as well. So you really don't want to block these guys. You don't want to block up the pipeline with guys like Shattenkirk.
We got Adam Modick saying, sup, boys? Sup, Adam?
What's up, Adam? You catch Adam on Kicking It Stateside.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys love your soccer out there, they got all of that knowledge for you. Jake's saying, will the Flyers make a big name signing / trade? I don't think so.
Nope.
I mean, here's the thing, and this is I know we had a bad postseason performance, and everybody wants to immediately fire everybody and, just change the entire team. Like, that's reactionary. Calm down. The Flyers aren't a bad team. We had a very bad run. That's the difference. We had a terrible postseason performance.
Oh.
It's the job of Alain Vigneault and the coaching staff to remind them and for them themselves to get back into their way of playing hockey. They lost it. They got rattled, and they lost their game, and they never found it again. A lot of things happened. They have to take that as it is, and they have to move forward. Don't give up on the team just yet, and don't start trading everybody away. Like and there are some veterans who showed up and did play, not all of them. And obviously we'll talk about that when we get to our shit list of the players that pissed us off, because there are definitely veterans that should have stepped the fuck up and didn't. But we have Joe saying, Johnny Hockey is a top 20 player, and he also makes $2 million a year less than players of his skill set. Calgary isn't going to let him go. And he also
that's a good point. He does. They signed him to an extension early in his career when they could afford to give him, that little bit of a, I don't want to say discount, but they paid him what he was worth at the time they extended him. And like I said, he hasn't been anything spectacular until this year. This year, he had a great year this year. He had a great year.
And he also goes on to say, if you get rid of JVR and Voracek, that adds $15.5 million, which would be nice to do that. And then listen, I'm all for getting rid of JVR because he's been a pylon ever since he came back. But as for Voracek, it's going to be interesting to see what we do. Could he be available in the expansion draft? Yes. JVR could also be possibly there. There's candidates open to that. And then let me see what else we got. And Adam Modig saying, all I got to say is Coots. And by the way, congratulations to him winning the Frank J. Selke Trophy for being the best defensive forward in the game. And I've said it before, he's the best two-way player in hockey.
I'll argue that, but he's definitely up there.
And he wins the Frank J. Selke Trophy. First time a Flyer has done it since the 80s. So good for him.
That's huge. Oh, so was that save. Wow.
What was that, from Khudobin or from Lanier?
Khudobin. Power play just lit up for Vegas. It's tied 2-2 with about 5 to play in the third.
Jeez. And Anthony saying
Vegas is pushing hard.
Yeah. And Anthony's saying the power play needs help. They shit the bed. Yep. They need a vet that's good on the PP. Yes, you're right.
I don't necessarily think it needs to be a vet, but they definitely need help on the power play. That's where I keep saying they need a goal scorer. They need a pure goal scorer. They don't need a guy who's going to pass the puck. They don't need a guy who's going to look for the pretty play. They need a guy whose first instinct is to shoot the puck if the lane is open.
Well, then that would be also a good point to not getting like maybe a veteran that's like 32 or something like that, but getting a veteran like Alane who's a little bit younger, and you can get a little bit more mileage out of him. That would be the better route to go.
Yeah, maybe somebody a little bit more affordable, because Alane is going to cost an arm and a leg.
Alane is a lot of money. Yeah, he's a pretty decent chunk of change there, and rightfully so. He's worth every single penny. But Joseph was saying, I hope D-zone exit and forecheck problems are fixable in 2 months off season and not something teams will use as a blueprint to kick the shit out of us next year. No, and here's my thing. I said this in one of the reaction shows. I think, Croman brought up on national TV, people looking at this and that this is what the Flyers are like, then okay, they're pushovers. But here's the thing. I think that they do that at their own folly. I said it there, and I'll say it again. This team is a lot better than that performance showed. And I think if anyone's taking us lightly, they're doing it at their own stupidity. I think you need to still take the Flyers seriously, because if you were at all – here's what the thing is. People forget the Islanders took full advantage of the fact that the Flyers were not doing well in their power play. Their D-zone was very bad. And on top of that as well, they couldn't get their offense going because the Islanders were smothering them. And that was the thing. The Islanders were just outplaying them and were playing their game and doing a very good job of it, and the Flyers couldn't get their game going. And that's the thing.
I think a lot of it had to do, too, with the fact that they played from behind more often than not.
True.
And you had these defensemen sitting there giving blind clears or trying to go for the home run pass where 9 times out of 10, it wasn't – well, I shouldn't say 9 times out of 10. 9.9 times out of 10, it wasn't. They weren't giving it to you, so they were trying to force a play, and that cost a lot of turnovers, and a lot of those turnovers wound up turning into points going the other way. Yeah,
Ted saying Flyers need to put Scotty Lawton on the shootout. He's awesome at breakaways. Yeah, he was. He's
looked good. Ted. I mean, he's looked good. I mean, he's. Not to really give a tease, but he's on one of my lists, and I'm not gonna say which one yet. But I mean,
we'll see.
Scotty Lawton had a strong season, and I think he's deserving of some recognition for that.
I mean, hey, if you're gonna cock tease, you're gonna cock tease, right? And David Roska chiming in saying JVR to the Ducks. I trade you for Jacob Silfverberg. I think it's a fair deal. I think it's a very fair deal.
I guess we're still on this getting guys out of their prime kick here, David, huh?
I had to do it.
Patrick Marleau still too? Joe Thornton? These guys are walking around. These guys are on walkers now. Like, come on, dude.
And Joe saying Flyers Islanders was the most one-sided 7-game series of all time. Game 5 was the only game the Flyers deserved to win. Yeah,
it's true.
I could agree. Yeah,
it's true. Like the Islanders had so much more jump. They played better. They played more physical. They basically. I don't want to say they rushed the Flyers to make passes and stuff and force turnovers, but that's kind of what they did. What they did was made the Flyers very uncomfortable with the puck.
And they couldn't, and the Flyers didn't take a chance the problem is the Flyers didn't make the adjustment. They needed to make the adjustment to that, and they couldn't do it. And that was the biggest problem. Ted saying, who do you guys think the Seattle takes from us of importance? We've been talking about the possibility of it being Voracek, JVR. Ghost was thrown out there, although I don't put Ghost up in the importance department anymore. But still, it's interesting. There's a lot of possibilities there. I'm going to throw out JVR. I think we leave him unprotected. I think that he winds up getting taken by the Seattle team. I was thinking Ghost, but then I thought to myself, well, maybe not. They may want to throw Ghost out there, but they may not take him. They may take JVR just for the fact that, okay, he may be third line depth, if anything.
What's up, Don Don?
And Don Don
what's
saying,
going on, brother?
Yeah, what's up, Don Don? Anthony saying, I hate when the Flyers on the power play and they hold on to the puck way too long. Even they are open to shoot the puck. They don't pull the trigger and look for the extra pass instead of shooting, or wait till the other team's plays creep up and steal the puck.
That was bad. Exactly what I'm talking about, Anthony. That is exactly what I'm talking about when I say they need a pure goal scorer on the power play. That's exactly what I'm talking about, because they need a guy who's going to sit there and take the instinct and say, oh, I got the lane open. I'm going to take the shot.
Shoot it.
I'm a shoot first, pass second guy. Why do you think Alex Ovechkin is so effective on the power play? Because he's a shoot first guy.
Yeah. He's a goal scorer.
He is a goal scorer. He's arguably the best goal scorer of all time. And we're going to see in the next couple of years if he passes Gretzky. But as of right now, to me, he's the best goal scorer of all time because he shoot first. And that's what the Flyers need. They need a guy who's going to shoot first.
He's the best of his generation.
Giroux, Couturier, Konechny, all those guys. I like those guys. I think they're great players. But they're pass first. They're selfless players. They need a selfish player.
Yeah, you do need that. You need a player to kind of be like, just pass it to me, and I'll take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe saying, and if we're being really honest, we only played well in like 2.5 games of the Canadian series. Yeah, and that's true. We got rattled in game 2 of that series, and that was really where the confidence officially left the Flyers, and it never really came back. Even against Montreal, we really struggled. And Anthony's saying, what about Elliott? I don't know if you throw Elliott out there open for Seattle.
I think Elliott's going to be a free agent anyway.
Yeah, it's plus also, it's arguable that you can sign him back, and it's not really a big deal because Elliott's been fine as a backup. I really haven't had any problems with him backing up Hart.
He's played well for the most part.
Yeah, he's not been a bad backup at all. Anthony's saying, I would love the Flyers to get Malkin. That would be interesting if we got Evgeny Malkin. I mean, obviously Pittsburgh's looking to try, hopefully they're looking to get younger. That would be, in my opinion, the next step for them.
Well, but it's kind of interesting that he brought up Malkin. And I was going to bring this up a little bit later on in the show, but since we're talking Penguins here real quick, I'll bring it up. Apparently, Pittsburgh and Edmonton have been talking about Matt Murray and a possible trade there. So,
interesting.
I think they're going to put their trust in Tristan Jarvie and rock with him, but it depends on what the return is for that. And I could have a funny feeling that it might be draft picks coming back for a quick little retool. As far as the Flyers getting Malkin, I mean, he's another good example of a shoot first player. He'll get you 30 to 40 goals a year. That's ideally what you want. And yeah, I mean, I know he's a little bit older, but depending on what the remainder of his contract is and what Pittsburgh's asking for it, I would explore it.
It's not a bad option.
He's a goal scorer. No, not at all. He's a goal scorer. He's something that's something that the Flyers need to address.
The real question is, would Pittsburgh be willing to deal him to Philly? You may have to do a deal of,
I think if the return's there, it's not going to matter. I don't think they care as long as it's the best offer they can get.
I mean, if that is the case, that is the case. It'll be interesting. Is it possible that doesn't make all these great? Moves? Maybe just a franchise that has a bad GM. I mean, I don't even know really how we can rate Chuck Fletcher right now because honestly, this team wasn't even built by him. It was built by Ron Hextall, and the main players that he's brought in was Kevin Hayes, which has been really good.
Madness and Justin Braun, which have been good for the most part.
And the depth pieces of Nate Thompson and Derek Grant. That's pretty much been Chuck Fletcher's tenure right now in Philly. Oh, and obviously the coaching staff. But when it comes to that, though, the jury's still out on Fletcher. I don't really know. We'll have to wait and see. Like in a few years, if we still don't have a cup, and we're still kind of sitting around wondering, okay, what the fuck, then we'll have a better gauge. Or if we have a cup in a few years, then it's like, okay, now we definitely know. I still think the jury's a little bit out on Fletcher right now. I don't know how to rate him.
I would rate him as well above average right now with the moves that he made. Because they went on a run at the end of the season, and
They did.
before the pause, I think they had wound up winning like 14 of 15 or 14 of 16, something like that.
They had a great
Unfortunately, I think a lot of the issue in the playoffs, outside of seeing your big guns kind of just fall short, you had a lot of young guys who haven't seen that playoff experience before, and they were kind of shaky about it. So you had a lack of experience there, and I think that's going to pay huge dividends moving forward. Now that you got pretty much your young studs, your young puppies are aware of what that situation feels like now. So maybe it moves everything forward a little bit. And like I said, the team is there for the most part. A couple pieces here and there. You got to find a spot for Morgan Frost. Cam York's going to come up, and you're going to want to find a spot for him. I'm sure there's a couple other players down there I'm forgetting about. Wade Allison is really taking a step forward in his development. So you're going to want to find a spot for these younger guys. So, I mean, for guys like Farabee to get that experience in the NHL postseason, it's very huge. Important. I mean, the only thing that changed this team's expectations moving forward was when they swept the round robin tournament. I think from that point, everybody, not just fans, not just everybody, media, everybody, push the expectations to Stanley Cup or bust.
Hey,
What's up, Pete? Don. I saw your post that the Wings need to hit on the number 4.
They will.
Don't fear, brother. There's a lot of very good talent in this draft. It's very, very deep.
You'll be fine. Don't worry, brother.
I will say I feel bad because y'all shafted out of that first round pick.
You deserve that first round pick. Yeah, absolutely. Detroit being the worst team in the league, and they don't get the number 1 overall pick, but a team that actually was in the postseason and the qualifiers, they get the number 1 overall pick, being the New York Rangers.
Heading to overtime.
Yeah. Oh, going to overtime? Oh, boy.
Going to overtime.
Free hockey. Oh, boy. And Ted was saying he actually meant the Seattle. Do they – he said, I meant, is it possible Seattle has a bad GM, not us?
Oh, no, they got Ron Francis. He helped build that Carolina team. So I think they're going to be in good shape. I mean, if you look at Vegas, if you want to run that track record back, he was responsible for building the team in Washington. He didn't get to see it through. But, you know, he built a great team in Vegas. So, I mean, I got faith. It sounds weird, but I got faith in Ron Francis and building a team that's going to be able to compete right away for the Seattle Kraken. Pete, what's good, brother?
Yeah, what's going on, Pete? You can catch Pete here on a2dradio.com.
Pete's everywhere.
Yeah, he's everywhere, man.
Pete's everywhere.
He'll show. Yeah, I know. It'd be fun.
Come on, Pete. When are you coming on with us?
Yeah. We might as well get that. We might as well get that out of the way now. When are you coming on, Pete? And Anthony's saying the Flyers can get Malkin because they have lots of young talent. You got to be careful with that. That's a slippery slope. You don't want to trade too much away.
If it's worth doing.
What about Jack Eichel and Kyle Connor?
I think he's thinking Kyle Connor. Jack Eichel ain't going nowhere, bro.
No, he's not.
Here's the problem. I like the names that you're throwing out here because these guys that could make an impact. But you got to remember, you got to look at these guys' contracts. Somebody said it was Joe bringing up Johnny Gaudreau's contract. That's affordable for a guy who's really starting to ramp it up. Eichel's making almost 10 a year. That's a lot of money to pay for somebody. Yeah, and I get it. He's young. Kid's a stud. Not taking that away from him.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a lot of money you're locking up in one player. Kyle Connor, I'm not exactly sure what his contract is.
I'll take a look.
I think he just signed an extension, but he's another stud. He's another young stud. I actually just traded for him in my be a GM in NHL. So you know I'm a fan of these guys. It's just they're going to be looking for a lot, and you're going to mortgage some of the future if you go for a guy like Jack Eichel, because I guarantee you they're gonna want a young NHL ready prospect, probably a couple vets, maybe multiple first round picks, probably.
Kyle Connor's contract is $7.5 million.
I would be okay with Kyle Connor. Like I said, he's a young stud.
It's not a bad option.
He's got a lot of scoring ability. No, it's not a bad option at all. And you plug him in a JVR spot. If you can lose JVR and be able to manage a decent trade for Kyle Connor, I'm for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not bringing in a guy who's making almost 10 plus. So
that's a lot of money. Going to assume he's talking about Jack Eichel, but
yeah, he makes a lot.
So with that, we're still waiting on the result of the Dallas Stars game number 3 because it is going to overtime. And Greg's saying he agrees to the poll. Keeping teams in a series allows for anything to happen. That's true. That is true. Anything can happen in a series. Nothing. All right.
Fantasy football coming through.
And besides that, we talked about the Western Conference Finals, still tied at 1 game apiece. We'll see when that changes. Don't worry. But in the East, the Lightning and the Isles. Boy, you talk about – all right, so
Night the Isles – baby.
Yeah, so the Isles beat the Flyers in Game 7, do a hell of a job doing it, get on a plane, go to Edmonton, and they start playing game number 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals. And between the combination of jet lag and I'm going to say shell shock, the Islanders absolutely got fucking dick smacked right in game number 1. Let's be honest here. Like, you ever had that asshole friend that cup checks you when you're clearly not wearing a cup? Yeah, well,
I grew up with that guy.
Yeah, well. That's what the Lightning did to the Islanders. They just did cut and bam. Let's bring in Jágr. We had Jágr. Unfortunately, he didn't come back. But anyway.
I still have his jersey hanging up in my closet.
Oh, man, that was a great year. I remember, man, that was fun when we had Jágr. But anyway, seriously, that's what the Lightning did. The Lightning just went bam, cup check right to the New York Islanders, and the Islanders got smoked in that game. But here's the thing. I'm going to put jet lag down as one of the reasons why they probably didn't play all that well. Secondly, they were shell-shocked because they faced a power play that could actually score goals. And that completely caught them off guard. I'm going to absolutely say that. Yeah. I think that caught them completely the fuck off guard. Because, you're going to get complacent when you don't have to put effort in your penalty kill. When the team that you're facing kills the penalty for you, you're going to get fucking shell-shocked when you face a team that's actually capable of using their power play to their advantage. And the Lightning did that. They killed it in that first game.
Second game, however.
Second game was a different story.
Yeah. It was rough because Islanders had Game 7. They had to travel that night. And had to play a game on Monday. It was rough. You knew they were going to come to that game tired.
Yeah,
and you saw it. It was clear as day. Yeah. Tampa was all over them from the get-go. I think they said they had a goal in the first minute and 14. It went downhill from there.
Yeah.
But Game 2 was a much better game. I thought I kind of didn't want the game to end, to be honest with you. Islanders really took it to Tampa Bay in Game 2. I thought they did a much better job of playing defense. Forecheck was very good throughout, and same thing with Tampa. Tampa's forecheck was really good too. 2 big opportunities for the Islanders. Had to cash in on those. There was an opportunity by Josh Bailey who had a rebound opportunity on an open net. Rolling puck went right over the net. It was unfortunate. That was a big missed opportunity to give him a 2-1 lead. Then there was a play in the third period where Anthony Beauvillier had an opportunity on the power play, and Vasi came up with a huge save there. Tampa Bay didn't really have a ton of really dangerous chances throughout that game. Victor Hedman got a lucky bounce off the post to get his goal. But I got to say, in that last third period, a lot of things happened in the final, I believe it was like 15 seconds or something like that. You had a breakaway by Yanni Gourde. Opportunity there missed. Great forecheck to give Andre Palat an opportunity. And then more great forechecking to get the puck once again. And Nikita Kucherov does what he does best, and that's score goals. About 7.5 left. I gotta say, man, that was exciting. And great forecheck leads to great scoring opportunities, and you saw that in Game 2. And Tampa Bay was the beneficiary, although the Islanders had dominated 90% of that game.
Sorry to interrupt everybody, but
yes, bro.
Can I give you a little Philadelphia misery update?
Sure, you might as well.
Okay,
no.
So, you guys were briefly, because based off of a commenter earlier, you guys were talking about the Phillies and the woes of Phillies fans, right? Well,
sure.
One pitcher that has been really good, Zach Wheeler. He won't be pitching until Monday. His start has been pushed back because he injured his finger putting on his pants. He put his fingernail putting on his pants. So now he's scratched.
Oh my god. Oh, that's so Philadelphia. That really is.
Yes,
like that.
Ted, seriously, that's a thing.
That's fucking brilliant. Oh, that's a good one. Brian's face just says it all. It really does just say it all right now. Oh my god.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Nope. Okay. Interesting.
Really? Don, yeah.
Don.
I'm still trying to comprehend it myself.
Oh my god.
He clipped his fingernail putting on his pants.
No. He didn't clip it. He injured it.
How do you do that? I don't know.
I don't understand.
I will give him this credit. He has done something that I don't think any other human being or athlete could ever possibly do. He will go down in the record book as the only player that's ever hurt his finger putting on his pants. So at least he owns the record.
What kind of pants it was? So maybe we can try and make
the stupid kind, Daly. The dangerous kind. Apparently, I didn't know there was a dangerous kind of pants, but whatever they are,
so it was jorts. Okay, he was putting on jorts and he got hurt.
Yeah, on the official injury report, he's listed as scratched with a quote very sore middle finger nail.
Very sore middle finger. Oh my god. Oh.
And Maddie, you were asking how this happens, why this happens?
Yeah,
because he plays for a Philadelphia team, Maddie.
Oh my god.
What? Really? Really?
It was those pleather pants. It's I don't want to keep asking you guys Wings questions, but is Lucas Raymond the ideal person at 4? He is. There's a lot of players that you can get at number 4 that are going to be freaking great, bro.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, Don. We don't care who we talk about. Wings, Saber. Well, maybe Matt cares about the Sabres, but I don't care about the Sabres.
I'll talk about the Sabres, but I'm not going to enjoy it.
We'll talk about anybody. Lucas Raymond, ideally, is not going to be one of your top 4 guys. I'm going to have to – I got my notebook next to me, so I'll have to see if I can find some of those names. But Lucas Raymond, if you take him at 4, will be a little too high, in my opinion. But he's a good option. He's gonna be a stud player. He's more ideally gonna probably be taken around that 6, 7, 8 mark. Let me see if I can find that list here real quick.
Well, while you're looking on the list, I'm gonna take a look at some of these other comments. Got a Punisher 88 chiming in. We'll talk about that in a minute from Ted there. Punisher 88 saying the situation we're in, I don't see teams rebuilding. It's all about fire sales and Yankee bench deep. I'm gonna assume. Talking about the Phillies there or what have you. Ted also saying Tampa is owning New York. I don't see anyone beating Tampa. I wouldn't say they're owning New York, but they got a big win in Game 2, which puts them now up 2-0. We'll see what Game 3 holds. The Islanders look good in Game 2, so, I mean, Tampa got a real good bounce there towards the end.
For the record, Greg, I need some notes. I can't know everything. I don't have it anyway. I don't think.
Then Punisher and he said it wasn't as bad as the first game. Guess he was talking about.
It was very much. Yeah. It was very much Islanders in control in game 2. Like I said, they had more of the dangerous scoring chances. They just had no finish. Tampa Bay's forecheck at the end of the game is really what led to that late goal in the third period to give them the win. Do I think Tampa ultimately wins the series? Yeah, but I think the Islanders in game 3 you're going to find some answers, and they're going to find a way to make this a series. But I'm still going to stick to my prediction of Dallas and New York in the finals, just because I want to be different. I don't want to be.
You want to be that guy. You want to be that guy.
What are you talking about? I am that guy.
You're the guy who does the cup check.
Gotcha. I am that guy. No, I'm the guy that gets the cup check. I live with the guy that gives me the cup check.
Oh, Ted's saying they lost game 2 in awesome fashion. Still hate everyone left in the playoffs. It's understandable. And Punisher 88 saying, rather down to the wire than getting blown out in the playoffs. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
And Ted, then he was saying, this is the question that we were going to talk about here. Are you free agency guys got any ideas what we can do to get our offense to the next level? I mean, we were goal scorer. That's what we need to get. We need to get that goal scorer who's going to be the selfish player to get those goals.
The one guy I saw out there that really piqued my interest was Jimmy Vesey. He's going to be a free agent out of Buffalo. I don't think they have any interest in re-signing him, but I can't be sure about that.
But I think he could
be a good bottom 6 player for the Flyers. We know he's got the scoring ability. We saw it in college and a little bit with the Rangers, a little bit in Buffalo. I think he just needs to find the right system for himself. He's still relatively young. I believe he's only 25, so he's still got a lot of years left here. So if he can, Flyers can offer him a 1 to 2 year contract that's still relatively low. I think he could pay some dividends here. I think if you could put him on a line with maybe a guy like yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, I think Lawton would be a good fit on the line with him to set him up a little bit and get some goals.
It'd be interesting if low risk, high reward. I have no problem with it. It'd be interesting to see if he works out in Philly. If he does, then great. It's like a big snag for us for lower 6.
I mean, there's not a ton of like huge, big name players that are gonna be affordable to hit the market when they hit the market. Yeah. So. I mean, if Evgeny Dadonov, I think, would be a good fit here, but he's going to cost you at least.
He's going to cost some good money. Yeah,
he's going to want at least 4.5 to 5.
It's tough. I mean, it all depends on what the Flyers get rid of. If they can get rid of JVR, and if they could get rid of Jake Voracek, if anything like that happens, then the possibilities there for a Dadonov or what have you. But we'll see.
Don't be surprised if there's no big name free agents coming here.
Yeah,
they're going to be looking at a lot of depth moves because they think they have the top 6 where they want it to be.
Yeah,
plus
absolutely.
You got Frost coming. Frost will be up. Wade Allison is a goal scorer. He'll be up within the next year or two.
And we still haven't seen Jay O'Brien, and we still haven't seen Cam
Jay O'Brien. Yeah,
we still have so many other great young players that have yet to really don the orange and black yet for a regular season game. So.
You got a little sample size out of Morgan Frost last year, but. I don't think he was quite ready, but I think next year coming in the camp, I think he's going to be ready to go to take that roster spot full time.
True. And who knows? Maybe Vorobiev will show up.
Hey, I wouldn't hate it. I kind of like Mikhail Vorobiev. I could see him being maybe like your 4th line center.
Maybe. We'll see. But let's see what else we got. And Punisher was saying, and they're down 2 stars. Punisher, are you an Islanders fan? I'm not sure if he is or if he's not. Because if he is, cool. We welcome you. I was just wondering if you were or not. But I know if he's talking about Tampa,
Killorn was suspended for this game,
and Stamkos hasn't played a single game.
Is still hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. And he probably won't. So there's that. And saying okay. Don was doing the whole thing. Anthony was saying lol ex-Met too. So I guess he's talking about the Phillies pitcher. And then
I just got over that. You have to bring it back up.
I'm going through the comments. I'm doing what we got to do. We got to give the fans what they want. They want us to read their
He
comments.
hurt his finger putting on his pants.
Apparently, his start's going to get pushed back until after Monday. Apparently, that's the positive outlook. Apparently, it could be later.
Oh my God!
What are those pants? What are those pants? Are they spies? What is that? A freaking mole? The Philly season got defeated by pants.
Does somebody put, like,
it was
a
a sleeper
mousetrap in his
pair of
pants or
pants. It was
something?
waiting for its moment to strike.
I swear to God, our biggest enemy isn't even the Marlins anymore. It's friggin' pants.
Oh my God!
I can't.
Punisher 88. Punisher 88 saying wearing a splint. That's all I'm going to say. Talking about Philly. Ted saying Ted saying so he has long nails in as a question.
Yeah, I mean most pitchers usually do. Gives them a little bit more grip on the ball. Cole Hamels' first 2 fingernails were relatively long. It's a grip thing, so they can get more spin.
And let's see here. And Anthony saying Wheeler hurt himself peeing. That'd be real funny if it was that.
Oh no, no. Don't tell me it's like a there's something about Mary moment. Oh no. Oh no, and I'm showing my age on that movie. It's a great movie though.
And then and then we've got Punisher saying Tampa's been hurt in the last few years. Yeah, they have been. There's very few times where Tampa's gone into the postseason fully healthy.
It's weird. I feel like they went into the playoffs fully healthy last year.
Yeah, and look what happened. Yeah,
they got swept by an 8 seed. So
yeah, and then he's saying, where does Wayne Simmons go? I have no idea, to be honest with you. I mean, Wayne's he's in that twilight of his career, so he could go anywhere at this point on a 1-year deal.
A contender.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, he might. I don't think he comes back. And you know what? Funny enough, we kind of missed him in that Islander series. I mean, we don't miss him taking bad penalties, but we miss his presence of being a feisty player who's going to try and get in the heads of the other team and can play that tough style that was being played. Yeah. You kind of missed his style there a little bit in that series.
I think the Flyers had the guys to play that style. I just think they were too scared.
Yeah,
I know there was one game we watched where, they had like 40 hits or something like that in the game, but overall, they weren't hitting the guys with the puck. They seemed like they were too afraid to. The Islanders got way too comfortable in the Flyers zone too many times. And they made it they made him pay for it as well. Like Barzal had so many nice opportunities. There were a couple bad rebounds by Carter Hart that led to goals, but for the most part, there was no significant pressure on the Islanders offense once they got into the zone. They sat back and just let him get there.
And then he's saying, I know you guys aren't scouts, but you got any under the radar players that could sign? Well, we did talk about Vesey.
That's I'd have to look at the list. I know it's a lot of defensemen.
Yeah, it's tough.
Under the radar?
I mean,
right now, my number one is Jimmy Vesey. I'd have to look at the list.
I'll look at pending free agents for 2020 and see what we get here. Then I'll take a look at it and see what we get. But then Punisher, he's a Kings fan. So welcome to the fan. And congratulations on your 2 cups in 2012 and 2014 there. And thank you for beating.
Bro. Come on, bro. Let's go. What's up, Punisher? Let's go.
Ignore Daly. Ignore his lies. No. It's all we love you, Punisher. And thank you so much for winning your 2 cups.
Absolutely.
Because and the reason why I'm thanking you so much because you beat the Devils and you beat the Rangers to do it. I cannot thank you enough for doing that. Thank you so very much. But let me see here.
We love all the fans. So burn that jersey. Why? No. No. Wait till you see the name on the back.
Between my cousin wanting you to burn your Patrick Kane jersey and and now Ted wanting you to burn the Bobby Ryan jersey. Boy, no one likes your jersey collection. They're really hating on you on that one.
Gorgeous.
I'm not knocking it, but everybody else is apparently.
I got all the ones that I'm going to frame behind me.
You got that Paul Correa, St. Louis Blues one right there.
Correa's in there. Aginla's in there. Kimmo Timonen's in there. I think I got a Peter Forsberg in there somewhere. Patrick Kane's in there.
Daly.
What?
Do you have any like hangers in your house? What are they all doing?
I do, but they're all being used right now.
Okay.
These are the ones I'm going to frame.
It's a lot of friggin' frame.
Probably.
Yeah, so I'm gonna formally. So Ted, here's what I'm gonna do. We'll talk about the free agency a little bit more in depth next week. We'll see what any under the radar guys that we could possibly sign for Philadelphia, because I got to get a better look at the free agency list as well. So I'm saying I bartended at the pond when the Mighty Ducks first. Wow, nice.
Jelly.
That must have been an interesting job. Wow.
Oh, I'm jealous.
That's
I would love
cool.
to get out there. Listen, I need to get out there one day, man. I really do. I need to get out there and get to the pond. See my boys on home ice instead of seeing them all the way out here.
Maybe Punisher knows a few people at the arena. Maybe you guys can go to a game.
Hey, I'm down for that. I don't mind going with a Kings fan.
Yeah, he can wear his Kings jersey. You can wear your Ducks jersey. Have a Kings versus Ducks match. That'd be an interesting day.
I'll wear this one. Which way? I don't know. I'm all tangled up right now. I'll wear this one.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. And it's a Stanley Cup Finals one. That's a very good one.
Yeah, 2003, baby. It's a shame we don't win.
Yeah, and I will say, like, man, if you guys had won that cup, that would have been nice, just to see the Devils not win one.
You kidding? But we'd have just as many as the Kings. We wouldn't have to fight for that second one to get tied back up with LA.
Yeah.
But I will say, first team in Southern California to ever win a Stanley Cup. Can't take that away from us.
Actually, the first team in California, period, to win a cup.
Whatever. Semantics at that point.
It's still triumphant. That means you get one over on the Kings and the Sharks. So there you go. But
that's semantics.
And then he's saying all the Disney characters on the ice before the game just killed me.
That was quick. Stars just won Game 3. You
didn't even see it? Oh my God!
No, I missed it. It was 31 seconds in the overtime.
Ted saying, does he know this is a Flyers show? I don't know if he's talking about you or if he's talking about Punisher. I think he's talking about you, Brian.
We like to talk all hockey teams here. We focus primarily on the Flyers, but we like to talk all. We'll talk any team.
Then Punisher was saying all fights were replaced with goofy boxing.
That's actually really funny.
Oh my God. Actually, by the way, if you go on YouTube, speaking of that, you can actually see opening days for all the expansion teams, and the Ducks are one of them. I was like, whoa, this is rough. This is real rough to get through.
It got weird.
That was wow. I think they were facing the Red Wings,
to be fair, it was owned by Disney, so they had the rights to bring the characters on, but it got weird.
Yeah. Oh. And then Don's saying, damn, that jersey is clean. So he's giving you love. But Punisher was saying the first year that the Duck Wing was supposed to jump through a flaming hoop and caught fire.
Forgot about that.
Oh, that's great. And Ted saying, are you guys annoyed that Vegas didn't start from scrap and they're good right away? No. I mean,
I ain't mad at that.
What are you going to do? You know, like, personally for me, no expansion team's done it beforehand, and I think the NHL is trying to be a little bit more helping to the expansion draft this time around, because beforehand, the expansion draft was not nice. It was brutal in those early 2000s expansions. I mean, look back at Columbus's first team, Nashville's first team, Atlanta's. They were not good. They were
Atlanta never really got better. So.
And yeah. So, I mean, those were not good expansions. I think the NHL felt bad, and I think that's why they wanted to help out and make sure this was a little bit more fair this time for Vegas. But for me personally, it pisses me off because it gives credence to putting hockey teams in non-traditional markets. But at the end of the day, though, this Vegas team, though, at the end of the day, they show that it can work. So I'll eat my words. I said they wouldn't be successful, and they're being successful.
Yeah, I ain't mad. I mean, you got to give George McAfee and the owner Golden Knights a ton of credit for, really putting together a great team and putting the expansion draft together well, making the trades as minuscule as they were, draft picks for draft picks, and now they're bringing in guys like a Max Pacioretty, a Mark Stone, putting together a really good team in Vegas that, let's be real, is built to compete for a few years. And you know what? It's a tip of the cap to those guys for doing a really good job putting a team together. And I think you're going to see that in Seattle as well. I don't necessarily know if they'll compete like Vegas has, but I could see them putting together a really good, really solid team that can, maybe not necessarily compete, but not be a bottom of the barrel team.
And it said, me too. Vegas is a transplant city, not a sports town. They want to build a statue of Fleury for one run.
Best goaltender they've ever had.
Well, that's not saying much because they had Malcolm Subban as the other one. But still, Fleury is a great goalie. I mean, even at his age, he's still showing that he's still got the ability to play really strong hockey. And
Brandon Cooks.
And then and Punisher 88 saying, and the national anthem was sang by Xena and her top fell down for the Ducks. Oh man! And then
I'm not opposed to that.
And I believe he had a comment on the Knights saying Martinez is a finisher. And
Alec Martinez,
yeah, I believe so. He was a huge get for them when they got him at the trade deadline. Absolutely. And
they've done a great job of that organization and being as young as they are as an organization, putting a team together like that and competing right away.
Yeah,
that's something special. And you know what? Like I said, my hat goes off to those guys. They did a great job.
Yeah. Don saying, I don't ever want to see the Avs or the Blackhawks win a championship ever. I can understand being a Detroit fan. That's totally understandable, not wanting to see the Blackhawks or seeing the Avs win another Stanley Cup. I'm pretty sure you were happy that the Avs got eliminated, too, by the, by the Stars.
I wasn't. That ruined my bracket.
Oh, it killed mine, too. I mean, mine's not dead completely because Tampa's still in it.
Mine's dead completely. Mine's dead completely.
Well, you had Boston, right? You had Boston in the finals with them? Who'd you have in the finals with them?
I'd rather not say.
Oh, come on.
You don't remember?
It was Philly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's right. It was Philly. I forgot about
losing,
that.
But I had them getting there.
Yeah, that's
right. But then again, at the time we did that show, they were playing at a high level, the round robin. And I'm like, you know what? They were playing great at the pause or just before the pause. They played great coming right out of the pause. Who's to say that they can't continue that? Well, I was wrong.
No, I mean, here's the thing, though. You weren't wrong when you looked at that round robin. You wouldn't be remiss to say that because they looked very good, So it wasn't that bad.
And you know what? Picks, we do predictions a lot here, and
we don't always get.
We do.
Brian, I blame you. We blame Rob. We blame Brinkman for not being on the live reactions for Game 7.
They tried blaming me for jumping on
what?
My show.
Whoa! Time out.
They're trying to blame me on being on my shows. Oh man, you're gonna jinx us. Blah blah blah. Bitch, we won because of me.
88 93 Max Gilly, and 17 goal scorer Ryan Jacobs.
Great. That is right. Great. That sounds great.
Right.
That is exactly what happened to the team. But Punisher went on to say all Kings blew up on the trade with Martinez, and I explained why you make Martinez go through rebuilding when he can land on a contention team. Makes sense. Send Martinez away, get something back for him. Your team's rebuilding. Why not? And the Kings are in a good spot. They got what? They got the number 2 pick. Did they not?
Got the number 2, which they're probably going to take Quentin Byfield, which to me is the best option for them to take. I mean, he's number 2 overall in the draft. So, I mean, even if New York gets a little freaky and decides to go Byfield number 1, you still got Lafreniere number 2. So, I mean, either way, it's a win-win walking away.
Yeah, it's a win-win. Yeah.
Quentin Byfield is, I think, built for the system that the LA Kings do because the guy that he's being compared to the most, and we've talked about this, Matty, is Anze Kopitar, who's the current captain of the Kings.
True.
And if they can build around Byfield and Kopitar can still play at the level that he's playing at right now, it's going to be a short rebuild for the Kings.
Yeah.
Because they have some pieces in place.
Yeah, and they still have some of the veteran talent, and if they play well, it could be short. It could be a short build one. Yeah.
Just got to figure out a way to get Dustin Brown off the books.
Yeah,
I think that's the
a
biggest
bad
issue
one
right now.
That's a bad one. Yeah,
He got paid, and you know what happened after he got paid? He
Yeah,
started to suck.
Yeah, he got once he got paid, that was it. I'm done. I'm cashing my check to the bank. I already won 2 cups. Why do I care? Like literally, that was that. But
he just stopped. Yeah. He just stopped playing. I don't know.
Yeah.
If maybe he had got like an injury or something like that really affected his play, but Dustin Brown just went from being
really strong center and
player to he's not even a center. He's a right wing.
Oh, the right winger. My bad.
He just went from being a top caliber player to now he's lucky if some teams would consider him a fourth liner. Now he's a depth guy.
Which is
obviously
bad
you throw him on the fourth line because you don't want to have him sit making. I think it's like something along the lines of like.
Oh, lost Bry there I lost your audio there for a second on that one, Bry. How much was he making?
It was like 8.25 or something along those lines.
Yeah,
you don't want to have that sitting in the press box. You want him out on the ice.
What is up, Prism? Chris Pronger's best friend in the whole world, Prism. And he was talking about how about that Miro Heiskanen? Yeah, Heiskanen's been freaking killing it this postseason. He's been freaking phenomenal.
Yo, I almost feel like the Flyers made a mistake picking Nolan Patrick over Miro Heiskanen at 2. Because Heiskanen went at 3 to Dallas, the very next pick.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, jury's still out.
There's still a lot. Yeah. There's still a lot we don't know about Nolan Patrick. The 1 year, small sample size.
Yeah.
But Miro is he's been something special so far.
He has been, man. And then Punisher 88 throwing a little shade. He said, blame your mascot for the loss. Don't talk bad about Gritty, Punisher. We were just starting to become friends. Listen, Flyers and Kings are usual trade partners. We're good buddies. Don't ruin it. Gritty's one of the greatest of all time. But
I don't know why Gritty always picks on me, but whatever.
Because you're the Ducks fan. That's why. But the Punisher 88 saying we're deep stocked with young talent, talking about his Kings, and they are. They are.
Yep.
But
absolutely, Kings have a bright future if they can make the right moves this offseason. I think they can compete for a wild card spot.
Absolutely. And then Prism saying Byfield is going to be a monster with that size and speed, and you are not wrong. You are not wrong.
And the ability to score that he has. Oh my God! You want to talk about a complete player? I personally don't think any of these guys could potentially be franchise changers. I think they're elite player. They could be elite players. I think Byfield could be the only guy who I could put on the fringe of possibly being a franchise changer.
Good Punisher was saying, I said that the Kings should have dealt a deal for of Toffoli, Carter, and Quick 3 or 4 years ago. That would have netted you something pretty nice.
Toffoli, yeah.
Yeah.
Carter, I feel like Carter's still playing at a high level, though.
He is.
And then Johnny Quick, I think, maybe his time has passed. Maybe hit the reset button on that goaltender situation. But I don't necessarily know if the Kings have. Punisher will know better than me if they even have anybody in that system that could even potentially be a starter. I know they traded away Jack Campbell, who was a solid backup. So he's in Toronto now. I don't know if they have anybody else. As I knocked my microphone out of my ear. So I'm not sure about that.
Prism was saying Gritty is Master Chief of Mascots. That other mascots kneel at the altar too. And then he was, Punisher was just 3 or 4 years ago. Would have gotten something. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay. You might still be able to get something for Carter now. Like I said, I feel like he's still playing at a high level. Quick, maybe, but I don't know many teams that are really looking for a starting goalie right now.
Yeah,
because most of them either have their starters in place or
I mean, Quick, in terms of him being a backup, may not be a bad option to possibly throw that out there. I mean, I'm only
He
saying,
won't.
yeah, that's a good point.
He won't. He's too
Yeah.
good. Plus, he's making a lot of money too.
He is making a good, decent chunk of change. That is a good point. I mean, that would have been the only route, though, that I would have thought about it because I'm like, okay, well, maybe he could be a good, strong backup for somebody. But then at the same time, you're right, salary-wise, and he wouldn't probably be happy with that. So yeah.
The only team that I could think of off the top of my head that might be able to use a guy like Jonathan Quick is maybe Arizona. But the way that Darcy Kempfer played this season, he deserves a shot to be the starter next year for Arizona. So,
He's
that would be kind of a slap in the face to him.
He's the one bright spot you get out of that Arizona playoff run is Kemper. Really,
Absolutely.
honest to God.
Absolutely.
Well,
I mean, defense played well, but I mean, yeah, for the most part, Kemper's the one bright spot.
Maybe him and Hinestroza. Hinestroza didn't play bad in the playoffs either. But
yeah, Vinny's a stud little young player they got over there. Listen, I'm telling you right now, like I'm playing my be a GM as the Arizona Coyotes. They don't have a bad roster, and they have some really good young talent in place. I think you get rid of Kessel. Maybe you let Hall walk, and you see what you have, and you move forward from there. If you need to make a couple trades, you make a couple trades. I like Christian Fischer. I like Christian Dvorak. Obviously Oliver Ekman-Larsson is the key on the defense with Nicholas Hjalmarsson. But there's some really good young talent. And then you got Brad Hoyton, who's not quite ready yet. But you give him a shot. You give Nick Merkley a shot. This team could compete. And then you got to throw in a couple vets here and there because you got to have that mixture. Because we're seeing that in Vancouver right now is that mixture of vets and young talent. And you're seeing these guys progress. You can even see it a little bit here in Philadelphia is you're seeing these guys progress because you got the right vets in place. Maybe a couple other swap outs here for the Flyers, but for the most part, I mean, you're seeing some of these young teams that are rebuilding. They're coming out of the rebuilds now.
True. And since the John Chaika era is officially over, you're not wrong. See what you got at this point, and move forward.
Listen, again, I said this on Saturday. I'm putting myself out there again. I will take the GM spot in Arizona, and I will build that team. I said the same thing about Vancouver in this past offseason. I like where Arizona is headed.
I would like to now officially announce my candidacy for the assistant GM role. Bri, you can be the head. I will be the assistant. I have no problem with that. I will make certain little suggestions here. It's like, oh, why don't we try this guy?
And then I'll turn every single one of them down.
Yeah. And then when it goes wrong, I can say, yep, it was all his fault. It's all his fault.
I'll take the blame.
Oh, okay. So now we will change gears. We talked about the conference finals.
See,
and a
now
lot of
that's
other
just
shit.
rude, Brodo. That's just rude. Why would you do that?
And we will dive into our Flyers hit list and shit list, and we're going to talk about the players that made us happy and players that made us angry. So let's get started. How do you want to do this? You want to do hit list first? You want to do shit list first?
Nah, let's save the shit list because you know what? I think our shit lists are going to be relatively the same. Can you open up, please?
On to the hit list. And no particular order for me.
Here we go.
No particular order for me. No rankings here. We're just listing players that we didn't like. And I just got number one right out of the way because it's number one with a bullet, and that's Carter Hart. Yep. I mean, obviously, he was the best player on the Flyers during this entire postseason. He was great in the round robin. He won us the series against Montreal, and make no mistake about it, he did. He won 2 straight games and a shutout, and that put us in the position to eventually win it in 6. And then he was the best player we had against the Islanders, and unfortunately, poor kid tried everything, and he played his heart out. Flyers just could not get the win for him at the end of the day. But had 2 big OT performances that resulted in a Game 7. So there you go. But amazing job by Carter Hart. He has to be here.
Yeah, he's on my hit list as well. Played great. I mean, defense hung him out to dry quite a few times in that Islanders series. You can only do so much. But I'm going to jump ahead and do my number 2 here. And my number 2 on my hit list is Kevin Hayes. he had a little bit of a rough start in the Montreal series, but once he got that first goal, he really took off. He was a little bit more of a physical presence. He played fairly well. His vision got better as the playoffs went on, and he was setting up some pretty goals. But I mean, all in all, his attitude never changed. He kept that lighthearted atmosphere, and he showed his leadership abilities there. And I thought he had a pretty good playoffs for the most part. A little bit of a rough start, but he finished off fairly strong on leading the team with 13 points.
Yeah, I agree. Number 2 for me, Jake Voracek. I think Voracek played well in the Montreal series. He was having a nose for the net. Sure, there were ugly goals, but Jake was getting them. And I felt like Jake was trying to set up plays. I felt like Jake was the better part of the duo of him and Giroux. Like, I felt like, okay, Jake's doing everything right. Giroux is not here right now. I don't know what's going on, but Voracek, I don't have a problem with him. I think he had a strong postseason. He was one of the few veterans I felt like showed up.
Yeah. I mean, I agree for the most part. My biggest issue with Jake was that he fell off in the Islander series. He had a really good series against Montreal, but after that, he kind of disappeared on me. I saw him give up the puck a couple times and trying to be selfish instead of just either making the pass or dumping the puck in. But, I mean, for the most part, he's definitely not on my shit list, I'll tell you that much.
Next up, for number 3 for me, put a young buck in here who I thought really showed something, and that was Phil Myers. Had a really strong postseason, had an OT winner against the Islanders. He also had a big goal in the round robin, and he scored, I believe, in the Montreal series. So he had a goal in every kind of matchup that we had, and he had strong play defensively. I don't remember seeing him making too many mistakes in the defensive zone. I mean, I felt like he was one of the stronger young defensemen we had, and I believe this was his first playoff. So very strong showing for him, and I like his play, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in a Flyers jersey for a while.
Yeah, for me, number 3, I gotta put Scotty Lawton on this list. I love Scotty's season. He had a great regular season, stayed healthy for the first time in a while, so it was nice to see him play the majority of the season healthy. I'm sure he missed games here and there for just being a healthy scratch and all, but my big thing with Scotty Lawton in the playoffs was he was one of those few guys where he was not afraid to get in the corners and get to the dirty areas to battle for pucks. I thought he had a pretty good forecheck for most of the playoffs. Back checking was, but he's a solid two-way player. But the big thing that I took away from Scotty Lawton was his ability to come up clutch for some big-time goals. And you saw that especially, I believe it was one overtime goal he had against the Islanders. I think he had a couple more in the Islander series, but he battled hard. He played hard just about every single night, and I thought he played great throughout the entire playoffs. So Scotty Lawton deserves to tip my hat. It's great to see him finally, take that step forward we've been waiting for. So hopefully he can take another step forward next year.
Hopefully. Number 4 for me was Kevin Hayes. So obviously we both have him on the hit list, which deservingly so. Hayes was, he was always trying to set up plays. He was showing some good puck handling skills. He was scoring goals. He was getting assists. He was doing a great job. Of course, I'm saying Lawton was Superman in a couple of games. Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was. Absolutely.
And he did deflect an OT winner into the net in Game 5. So, it's just one of those perfect examples of this was a guy who, he showed up to play. And Kevin Hayes was another guy who showed up to play. Yep. So that's why he's on my hit list.
Love it. I thought he had a great playoff. I thought he had a great series. I thought he had a great season. So good for Scotty. Hopefully he can build off it.
Yeah, hopefully. On to my number 5, Tyler Pitlick.
Hey, hold up. Hold up. You don't get ahead of me here. I
Go ahead.
Give my number 4.
That was for denying all my assistant GM advice.
My number 4, he's a little more underrated, under the radar. I thought Nate Thompson had a very good playoff series, especially against the Islanders. Showed his physical presence multiple times. And, he didn't really find the net. He had a couple good opportunities that he didn't really have any finish on. But, he created a couple offensive chances and he forechecked really well. I actually liked him better in the defensive zone. And my big thing about Nate Thompson is, and I said this when they Flyers first traded for him in the trade deadline, was he's really good at faceoffs, and he won some key faceoffs for the Flyers in a couple series opportunities, and some led to offensive goals and some didn't. But you know what? All in all, I thought Nate Thompson had a great series, especially against the Islanders.
Yeah, yeah. Thompson was he's a heart and soul kind of player. He's that guy who's gonna be that forechecker or that checking guy. You know, who's gonna try and set things up and try to get that puck and try to knock people off. Which that's what he was doing in that. And the lower lines were doing very well in that series of times. It's just a shame that they couldn't get the goals. But number 5 for me, speaking of the lower lines, Tyler Pitlick, who absolutely deserves all the credit in the world for the way he played in this postseason. He did get a goal. He got a goal in Game 2 against the Islanders. Game 3 against the Islanders. And I thought, okay, that's a good start. Maybe we'll win this. We did not. But Tyler Pitlick, though, he very rarely got checked off the puck. And it always seemed like when he had it, something was going to happen positive for the Flyers and not negative. And I absolutely loved what he brought to the table. And who would have thought after we flipped Hartman to get him, who would have thought that one little addition would mean so much for our fourth line? And it's done such a great deal for us. And I like this kid. I hope he stays in Philly for a little while on the fourth line. You know, he's a depth player, but he's one of those really good depth players that you absolutely need on your team.
Yeah, I was a little surprised when Dallas originally said, hey, we'll take Ryan Hartman for Tyler Pitlick. Because Tyler Pitlick is the type of player that, he brings a physical play. He has a presence on the ice, and when he's there. He's another guy who went into the dirty areas to get some pucks and win some board battles. You didn't see enough of that on some of the other lines, but for me, number 5, and he didn't play enough, in my opinion. I think he should have, is Michael Raffl. He had a couple of huge goals for the Flyers in the Islanders series. Another guy like Scotty Lawton, not afraid to get into the dirty areas, not afraid to throw his weight around, win puck battles. His forecheck ability in that series, I thought, was probably one of the better guys who were on the ice. And Raffl is such an underrated player, and I think he's an underappreciated player. This kid might be one of the most hardest working kids in the NHL. And you know what? It's nice to see him score goals once in a while because he deserves them, because he works so hard at it, and he doesn't always reap the reward of the work that he does.
And he's been a strong depth player for the Flyers for a while. I mean, he's been on the Flyers for almost 6 years now.
And he's been all over the place. He's been first line, second line, third line, fourth line. I think he's a solid middle six player. He's a good power forward. He's got a great power move, which I think we saw a few times in the Islanders series. I think only one came away with a goal, but I love Michael Raffl. I think he's a great player, and I think he's one of the more underrated players in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that is our hit list. Those are the players that we liked. Of course, there are probably some that, maybe we missed. But, hey, if you guys feel like that there are some people that should have been on the hit list, feel free to put that in on the comments. Okay, on to the shit list. So these are the players that absolutely pissed us off, and we were very disappointed in their performance.
I think the top 3 are pretty much already known.
We'll see.
In my opinion.
All right,
I'll start off since you started off the hit list.
Sure, go right ahead.
My number 1 on my shit list is Travis Konechny for pretty much being completely non-existent.
Yeah, and not scoring a goal, not doing anything.
And had an assist. So
that's it.
For him. No, the thing that annoyed me the most is, dude, you're not really playing all that well, and I understand that, it's a part of your game. But the fact that you're talking shit to other players and chirping, bro, get your game back on course and then start chirping, because you know what? You have nothing to chirp about, especially when you're in an Islander series and your defenseman just pretty much shoved you 25 feet off him. Then you make a face and start chirping. Dude. Come on, TK.
My biggest
you got no room to chirp when you're not scoring.
And Travis Konechny is also on my shit list. I had him as like number 3 or whatever, but I'll just get to him now. The one thing that I didn't like about Konechny was this. Very big lack of maturity. In the maturity of this, when you're not playing well, he allowed himself to get in his own head, and he got more and more frustrated as the series went along. It's okay that you're frustrated. It's fine. You're going to have frustrating moments, but you can't let that define you, and you can't allow that to consume you. And let him consume him, because he constantly, Rob pointed this out in the last reaction that we had. He said that Konechny was constantly throwing his head up in the air, constantly going with a woe is me attitude, and he's not wrong. Rob was 110% spot on accurate there, where this guy was in his own head. He wasn't playing well. He was trying to force things that weren't there sometimes. But on top of that, what killed me the most was he didn't take a step back and say, hey, play the game, let it come to you, calm down. And that's the thing he couldn't do. He showed that he had very big lack of maturity in there, that he needs to get under. There's a difference between being feisty, like you were talking about with the chirping and stuff, where he had no room to do it anyway. But the point is, there's also a difference of being frustrated and not being able to handle it properly. You're going to have periods of time where you're going to struggle. But the point is that you need to calm down and remember that you have the skills to be a goal scorer. You have the skills to set up plays. You have the skills to get pucks in the back of the net. You need to calm down and remember that. Don't get in your own head, and that's the big problem I had. He got in his own head, and he was never the same after that.
Yeah, I agree. My number 2 is Claude Giroux. Despite having quite a few assists on the playoffs, we needed him to start scoring, and he's another one. Lacked the confidence. I think he was getting into his own head. I thought maybe after that first goal he had, you're going to see that kind of relief go, and you're going to start seeing some goals, but they never came. Like I said, and I said this during the reaction show, maybe Claude Giroux is not the goal scorer we need, but he's a really good setup guy, and he still managed to have 9 points in the playoffs, which was good for, I believe, 3rd on the team. So I mean, I think the leadership was there. He won some big faceoffs as well, but for the most part, we needed the captain to step up, and he didn't step up.
Now that's and here's what I'm going to say right now. I have Claude Giroux here at number 1 because he was going to be my number 1 to get the obvious one right out of the way. And the reason why, and I'm going to put this out here. I'm going to say this right now. 2 things. 1, I have no first years on my list because it's not fair. They shouldn't get thrown onto a shit list simply because they were on the team in their first playoff and the team disappeared. But Giroux, in the past, I have defended Giroux time and time again. Bri, you know this. I've defended him. Rob
I still defend him. I don't care. I'll still defend him.
I'm not saying I'm giving up on him or anything. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that I've defended him in the past where I said it's not his fault that the team around him isn't good enough. And that was always the case for a long time because the team was bitterly mediocre. We did not have a goal scorer on the line with him. We still don't. But the point is that in the past, the talent wasn't there to get us over the hump, and people still blame Giroux for that. I'm like, you can't blame a captain for a team that isn't ready to win anything, and that was the problem. The team wasn't ready for anything. Is the team ready now? No, but the team had talent, and the team had skill, and they had ability. Giroux had a chance to be a leader, and he didn't take it. He didn't show that leadership ability. And that ultimately is my biggest problem, like you were talking about towards the end. That's why he's on my list, because in a Game 7 scenario that you've been in, Giroux's been in them. Giroux's been in Game 7s where the Flyers have won them and lost them. This was an opportunity for him to take a chance and to show that this is why I'm captain. And in the past, he's shown that he can lead by example. There were times where we were down in games and he got clutch goals and got the team back into it. There were times where Giroux showed that I need to score here, and he did. What happened? He didn't show it here. He didn't step up, and I know he's more of a playmaker, but he can score. And when you're a captain, it doesn't matter what your role is over being captain. Yes, you are a pass-first player, but you're the captain. You need to step up here, get a big clutch goal, get something going for this team, get the team fired up. That's your job as the captain. And in a game 7 where they showed no fire, no nothing, that's a problem. That is a huge problem. That cannot happen.
I agree with most of that. He definitely needs a scorer. He needs a guy that he can pass the puck to. Because, like I was saying on Saturday, the line of Couturier, Giroux, and whoever else winds up on the right wing, so most of the time it's Voracek, are all pass first players. You're not going to get guys that are going to shoot the puck or take the initiative to say, "Oh, I got a lane open here." No, they're 3 guys who are looking for the pretty play. I agree to an extent on the leadership. Yeah, I mean, maybe he wasn't showing it on the ice. We don't know. We couldn't really hear. To say that he's not showing leadership in the locker room is another situation where we can't really say because we're not in the locker room. And then you got guys like Kevin Hayes, who's a leader, who'll speak up. Drew is obviously the captain, but here's the thing, and I brought this up before, and I think this plays a huge part in it, is his personality. He's not the guy who's going to sit there and rip a guy for not playing good enough, not, missing an opportunity, not having a good shift. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but he's not the guy who's going to get you fired up. And like you said, it's a problem. And that isn't the type of guy you really want as your captain going into the playoffs. And even if it is, you got other guys that are wearing A's on their sweaters as well.
True.
So if he doesn't want to be the guy to rip a guy, go to your alternate and say, yo, so-and-so is not doing this. Can you go talk to him? Like I said, but, we're not in the locker room, so we don't know a ton about the leadership that's going on in there, things that are said. But as far as performance goes, Drew didn't really perform. He didn't step up when they needed him to be. So, he's on my shit list.
Prism 280 saying Konechny seems like he was trying to talk himself into playing better and it never happened. Ended up like a common case of his alligator mouth overloading his canary ass.
I agree. Which brings me to number 3. Sean Couturier. He's another one. He former 30-goal scorer. We know he can put the puck in the net. But no scoring drive. No killer instinct to put the puck in the back of the net. Another guy who's just going to pass first.
And
he's got a good shot, too, which is a shame because he's got a good shot. He's got a really good wrist shot.
He can score, yeah. When he takes the shot, it's a very good one. But Coots, I put him here as well. Number 4. It's just, my biggest problem is with Coots is and I'm happy that he won the best defensive side of the puck, being a forward. I'm happy he won that because he has great two-way play, and we know that. But your offensive side of the game shouldn't die off. And you're wearing an A. You notice the trend that me and Brian are building up here on this shit list. The A's and the C's are here, and they shouldn't be because these are the guys who should be. I mean, Hayes is wearing an A, and he's one of the few that's on the hit list. But it shouldn't just be one guy. You need to, when you're wearing the A and you're wearing the C, you have a responsibility on the team. You have a responsibility to be a leader. You have a responsibility to score a clutch goal. You have the responsibility of being the guy who's going to get the team fired up.
I personally don't care if they score the goal, but
or at least
be a part
do
of
something.
Setting it up. Help create more opportunities.
Yes, something, just something. And it's just one of those things of Coots didn't do it either. And he was pass happy as well, like you were saying. And it was just ridiculous. I'm like, Coots, shoot the goddamn puck. Just do it.
There's been a lot of, opportunities where I saw Coots had an open lane, open shot. And he would just wind up passing the puck.
Nice.
Yeah, we saw you got the orange one, dude. We appreciate the love, brother. We really, really, really do.
Hell yeah, man. You saw that on the text, and that made my freaking day. Like, kick fucking ass, dude. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, man. Let's go. But yeah, I mean, like you said, pass first guy, and sometimes it's aggravating to watch. But, you didn't see much out of Couturier. There was a couple really good opportunities on the power play, but he showed no finish either. So that's just something they got to work on. That's all.
Yeah. So we have Coots on here. Now we go to the next player that's on the shit list, and I'll start with mine. So, and I'm gonna put an asterisk next to Konechny for the simple fact that he's young, so he can learn from this experience, which is one thing that I'll give him that one. Coots is relatively young too. It's just one of those things of learn from this. Learn big time. And for Coots, though, it's like you've been here longer. You should have been a little bit better than that. But when it comes to next up for me, I'm going to throw him in here only because of his defensive play. It was not – yeah.
Real quick, before you go into that.
Sure.
I've seen too many this is why I don't give Konechny any leeway. Age doesn't matter to me. He was the leading goal scorer on the team and had 1 point. How many teams do you think have young guys on the – Elias Pettersson's the perfect example. Quinn Hughes, perfect example. These guys lit up the playoffs. And they're young guys too as well.
That's a good point.
Pettersson, I believe, is in his second year, and Quinn's, I believe, is in his third. Age has – you're either going to step up or you're not.
True.
And we know Konechny was the leading goal scorer on the team and had nothing. So, that to me, I don't care about age.
True, and a lot of those players that we just mentioned, they're in their first playoff. So there you go. Or they were. But and they knocked off the defending champs too, so there you go. But with that, my next player on the list is Ivan Provorov. Now he had a big goal that forced Game 7. Take that out of the equation. What else did he do? Constantly caused bad problems in the D zone. He struggled in his defensive zone play, and that can't happen because you're a defenseman. I know Provi likes to be a little offensive. I know he's got a nice shot. I know he likes to cheat a little bit, but you're a D-man. This isn't the 80s when Paul Coffey's roaming around like a goddamn rover. He was only a defenseman in name. You have to play the defensive side of the puck. You cannot let that go to the wayside. Provy did that. And yes, he did block shots, but it's not the blocking shots that I have the problem with. Mishandling the puck in front of Hart, turning the puck over in the dirty zone. You can't do that. Not as a D-man. You can't get out-hustled as a D-man. I saw that happen to him. I saw that happen to Sanheim. That can't happen. When you are in your zone and you're racing for the puck in the corner, how does the other man on the other team outrace you for that puck? That can't happen. Now, sometimes you're tired, fine, but when that happens all the time, that's a bad trend to pick up on, and that's something that you cannot have happen to you. Happened to Provy a lot. It cannot happen. And Provy had a tough time getting the puck out of the zone, and that can't happen either. It's like your defensive play as a D-man should be your foremost importance. Yes, if you have a big offensive contribution, that's very well welcomed, but you're still a D-man. Don't ever forget that you're still a D-man. It's a very important position in hockey. Like all of them are, you are the last line before the goaltender. Do not let your defensive play fall to the wayside. You're a D-man. Play defense.
For me, it's Kevin Haig here. Didn't see the physical play you saw in the Montreal series. That was my biggest issue. All the defensemen were, blind clears, didn't really have much of a chance to really make plays because the Islanders were just, even the Canadians, they were forechecking really well. Both fast teams. They played better in the Montreal series, but Islanders just brought it. They couldn't handle the pressure,
which is a problem.
And again, I get Haig is a younger guy, but there's young players that handle it, and there's young players that can't. And I'll give a little bit of leeway, but because he didn't play every night. But for the most part, there was no physical presence on the defensive side. And I'm even going to throw this into my number 5 with Ghost, who's another one who gets a little bit of leeway, but when he did play, he didn't play well. Again, a lot of my issue with the defensive side of the puck was blind passes, blind clears, couldn't get the puck out of the zone, and most of those opportunities led to scoring chances for the Islanders. Either Cart bailed them out, and he did that a lot, or Hart gave up a goal. And again, that happened a lot as well. So
And again,
that's
not his fault.
That's my list, and unfortunately, it was a fairly easy list to put together.
Yeah, I have one more, of course. And before that, Prism said, should the Flyers have any trade interest in Patrick Laine or Brock Besser? If Vancouver or Winnipeg looks to move one to make cap space, keep hearing their names as potentially available.
Brock Besser probably won't go anywhere. I think he re-ups with Vancouver. I think it'd be stupid to let him go. Laine, I think the asking price for Laine is just going to be too much. He'll fit a need. He will absolutely fit a need, but I think he's just going to cost way too much.
Oh, Rob's got his shit list actually on here. And he was saying, Hove's shit list. 1, Travis Konechny. 2, Claude Giroux, absent until Game 5 versus the New York Islanders. 3, Scott Lawton, same. 4, Justin Braun. 5, Matt Niskanen, absent on power play and in a leadership since he won a cup. And by the way, spoiler alert, that is who I have at number 5 on my shit list. Here's the it's not just the absence of the power play and the leadership. You're the defensive captain. Now, let's just throw this right out there. You're in charge of the defensive side of the puck. It is your job to make sure that the defense is playing well, right? You're the captain of the defense. What the fuck was that? That was terrible. Not only that, too, he did get suspended for a game, albeit, though, we joke about it that, the moment Gallagher scored his first goal, Niskanen went and broke his jaw for scoring. But still, that's showing an undisciplined play from your captain of your defense getting suspended for one game for hitting him in the face with his stick. Overall, Matt Niskanen had a poor performance. Yes, he scored a goal, but that's the only thing he did. And then on top of it as well, the play was terrible on the defensive side of the puck for pretty much 90% of both series. The defensive leader doesn't rally the troops at all, doesn't get them to calm the fuck down and just basically start playing better defensively. Matt Niskanen was not a present and was not a factor in either of the series, except for getting that suspension. And it's like, that's not how you lead in a defensive role. That was terrible on Matt Niskanen's part. You're the defensive captain. That was piss poor on defensive play. What the fuck?
I don't disagree. I don't agree with Scott Lawton being on that list. I mean, I thought he was one of the very few positive bright spots about that entire playoff run.
And Probes is hit list number 1, Carter Hart, 2, Phil Myers, 3, Kevin Hayes, 4, Knack, Obi Kubel, and 5, Ivan Provorov.
And that's my thing is I thought he played about just as well as Knack did. I mean, granted, he's not going to go out and score your goals here and there, but Lawton's going to go out and win puck battles and get into the dirty areas, and that's something I thought he did well. And I thought he played with a little bit more of a physical presence than most of the other guys. Same as Knack. Knack got into dirty areas, threw his body around a little bit, had some good shot opportunities. Lawton got paid by scoring a few goals in those playoffs. I mean, his opinion is his opinion, but I don't necessarily. I agree with most of his list. I just don't agree with Lawton.
Well, you're saying Lawton was benched.
When the hell was Lawton benched?
I think it was Game 7. Was it Game 7? Yeah, it had to have been Game 7. Or was it Game... I think it was. But anyway.
If it was Game 7, I missed it because I was at work.
But I kind of disagree with Provy. I mean, yeah, I know he scored that big goal, but I did not like his defensive handling of the puck. I thought he had very bad puck management, and I felt like he got out-hustled a lot. So I just wasn't a big fan of his play in these playoffs. He said he was good at times, but played god-awful for majority.
Hey, man, to each his own, brother. I mean, I thought Lawton was probably one of the more consistent players, in my opinion.
And then Prism saying Lawton felt like a good play waiting to happen every time he was on the ice.
And that's what I felt.
Later in the series, yeah, I could agree. When we got to that game 5 into those game 7s, yeah, it looked like when Lawton got it, something was going to happen. But that is our shit list and our hit list, and that pretty much wraps up our run of Flyers postseason coverage. Yes,
okay. I was going to say we got one more thing to cover before we go.
And what is that?
The awards that were just handed out.
The awards, you are correct. Actually, I have one more thing I got to cover too. But yes, go right ahead, Bri.
All right, so real quick, the awards that were just given out, Jack Adams, Masterson, Selke, all awarded within the last few days. Jack Adams award winner, Boston Bruins head coach, Bruce Cassidy. Masterson trophy goes to Ottawa Senators right winger, Bobby Ryan, which I'm going to make note of this. All 3 guys deserve to have this trophy this year. I know a lot of people feel slighted because of Oscar and all that. I get it. But Bobby Ryan was dealing with something just as bad, if, not worse. Depends on your view. But Bobby Ryan overcoming, we'll call it substance abuse, to come back and the way he did and be an impact player on the Ottawa Senators the second half of the season is a huge thing. And I'm not taking anything away from the other 2 guys nominated, Oscar Lindblom and I'm blanking on the kid from the Stars name. All 3 deserved it, but I think Bobby Ryan was a little step up. And as far as Selke goes, obviously, Sean Couturier is well deserving. He's 1A, 1B with Patrice Bergeron as the number 1 two-way forward in all of hockey. So obviously, not much to say there.
Rob saying he was very happy for Bobby.
I'm very happy for all these guys. I was very happy for the 3 guys that got nominated as well.
Yeah, so congratulations to all those who did win their respective NHL awards. And we move forward. So, going to do a quick penalty box here. I went easy on somebody on Tuesday, and I'm going to rectify that situation tonight. I am throwing, and Prism saying, can't argue with Bobby Ryan getting that award. Nope.
You can't. Listen, you can make an argument for all 3 of them. Absolutely, 1,000%. All 3 of these guys deserve that award.
So, for me, I'm putting in the penalty box Tony Khan and AEW and Doc Samson. Why? Very simple. Matt Hardy knocked himself out by hitting his head on concrete, clearly had a concussion, got up and came to, which is a miracle that he did because I thought he was dead. He knocked himself out, clearly had a concussion. Doc Samson basically does concussion protocol, quote unquote, and Matt Hardy goes out and finishes the match, and he can't even stand up. He can't even stand on his own 2 feet. How the fuck do you not know he doesn't have a concussion? What doctor is going to go through concussion protocol and then look at a guy who can't even stand on his own 2 feet and he's saying, oh no, I don't have a concussion? Bullshit, you don't. You can't even stand. Are you fucking joking right now?
Some symptoms don't show up right away, Matty.
No, this was bad. It was really bad. You could clearly tell the match had to be over. It was done. The match was called. Even the announcer said this match is over. And then they let him finish the match. That is fucking responsible. Knowing everything we know about concussions, knowing everything about it. And then Tony Khan doubled down on the doctor and said, oh, the doc said he didn't have a concussion. And then continues to double down on the doc and said, oh, no, he doesn't. He went to the hospital. They said he doesn't have a concussion. Yet Matt Hardy's wife says he does. What the fuck? Are you, seriously, are you kidding me right now? A man could have fucking died. He could have fucking died. Are you fucking joking right now? That is unforgivable. You're going into the fucking penalty box. You're going to fucking, not game suspension, you're suspended for the fucking season. When you start having shit like that happen where you have someone who's got a concussion and you still let them finish a match when they clearly can't even stand on their own 2 fucking feet and they are not there and you know they're not there, and then on top of it could wind up dead because you're finishing a fucking match, it's fucking bullshit. And then to double down on the doctor and take the heat for him, fine. Guess you want to do good PR. Point is, you still are fucking going to take it. Fucking unbelievable. Just fucking ridiculous. Disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. A fucking season suspension because you fucking almost had somebody die on your show over your own negligence. With that being said, that's who I put in the penalty box. Rob's putting the dial in there because the Flyers out of the playoffs, they immediately stopped talking hockey. Not expecting them to cover CF necessarily, but at least discuss the Flyers' overall performance, ways that they can get better, and outlook for next season, which is right around the corner. 5 major for being Fugazi. For being Fugazi.
Robbie, what do you listen to? Because I listen to Fanatic, and they've been continuing to talk. I mean, the little bit that I actually hear, Mike Missinelli the other night was talking hockey at the beginning of the show. Anthony Gargano still talks a little bit, and obviously Jason Martinez is majority. But I mean, if it's WIP, they probably wiped the slate clean of the Flyers as soon as they got eliminated. Because that's what they do. They don't talk hockey over there. They don't even air the games anymore. The games are all Fanatic and WMMR now because they're both owned by Beasley.
Makes sense. But
yeah, I mean, I'm with Rob. Anybody who was talking hockey through this little stretch run and that's not talking hockey now is, you need a timeout.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was the penalty box real quick. Rob, Brian, did you have anyone you want to throw in real fast?
Not really.
Okay, then. So that's it. Thank you all for joining us for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We thank you for everyone who commented in. If you were a new commenter or if you were a regular like Prism, shout out to you. Shout out to Anthony. Shout out to everybody who's a regular and who's a newcomer. And
shout out to Punisher as well.
Yes, and Punisher as well. We will be back next week. By then, the conference finals should be all wrapped up, and the Stanley Cup finals should be ready to go. We should be at least, I think, 2 games deep into that, possibly 1. But it'll be interesting to see. And a fun little fact before we leave: if the New York Islanders make the Stanley Cup finals and they draw the Dallas Stars, the Islanders will make history before even a shift of hockey is played and the puck's even dropped, because the Islanders would have met the same franchise in 2 different incarnations in the Stanley Cup final, because the New York Islanders in 1981 faced the Minnesota North Stars, and if they face them this year, they will face the Dallas Stars. And there's only one other team that can accomplish that feat, and that's the Pittsburgh Penguins. So there you go.
Interesting.
So, yeah, quick little fact before everybody goes. So thank you all for joining us. We had a lot of fun on the show. We always do, and we will see you guys next week. If you wish to support the Hockey Happy Hour and A2DRadio.com and all of the fantastic shows that we have here, there is a way to do that. Bri, take it away.
Head on over to PhillyDrinkers.com, Philly Drinkers LLC. Hit up my boy Alex, and he'll look you out. You can get great little show shirts to support the shows that you like, whether it be us, Lazy Booking, In This Very Ring, Agree to Disagree, AM and the PM, The Fix, whatever, what have you. All kinds of stuff. Hats, hoodies. We got great fall line coming out. We actually just had 2 things get debuted today. You can go get your A2D socks or get your A2D throw blanket. All done at PhillyDrinkersLLC.com. Alex does a great job, great quality stuff. So go check him out. PhillyDrinkers.com, Philly Drinkers LLC.
All right, then. And, yeah, great stuff there. Thanks, Prism.
Thanks, Prism, as always, brother.
And, yeah, and that's where you'll get all your A2D merchandise, and it's great stuff. Great stuff there. So shout out to them. And then, final sponsor is Ambuck Services. Listen, man, I know that summer's coming to a close, fall's about to kick in, but if you want to at least get things taken care of on the lawn before winter hits, you could still do that. It might not be a bad idea to do so. If you want to get your gutters cleaned, you want your deck restored, if you want to get your bushes trimmed up and everything like that, Ambuck Services is the people that you want to talk to. And you can actually give them a call at 856-879-5530. Ambuck Services, they'll make sure that your front and back lawn and your deck looks great. All you got to do is pull out the lawnmower and take care of that. And then you've got the lawn that makes all the neighbors envious. and Buck Services. Thanks you, everybody, for joining in. Thank you, Don. We'll see you
Appreciate
guys
it,
next
Don.
week right here on a2dradio.com. We thank you for joining us. Matt Sassuti, the Darkwing Brian Daly, Mr. Ryan Brodo, behind the scenes producing and giving us all those great updates on the Phillies. And we will see you
Hurt his
guys.
finger putting on pants. Are you kidding me?
We'll see you next week right here on a2dradio.com. Yeah, that says it all. Stay safe, stay healthy, everybody. Wear your mask when you go out, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace, everyone.